about processing. What is it?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good
We
morning,
have,
sir.
Good morning.
we have Dr. Agni here from DCM Group.
Oh, lovely. God bless her. I have a new companion here.
Wow.
So Batum joined our studio today. That's Batum. So that's a
Yeah,
new
good
one at
morning,
my.
everyone.
So you can meet my little Batum here. You can't fit into the screen even. So huge. So he joined us at my good school today. So if you come here,
That's
you'll meet Batum
wonderful.
next time. We named him Batum. B Atom. Because the first dog in our home was Atom. So this guy is Batum. And the next one will be Catum.
Cool. Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So good to be here. I wonder when you people will come here. So Dr. Ragini, who pushed you to come here?
Avika ma'am is also joining,
Okay,
and though I also joined earlier your classes, it was
lovely.
really wonderful. I'm from Sandeem Lehartara,
Lovely.
and here
Good to
it
see
is
you.
Ria Maurya also, and we have to listen to Avika ma'am regarding some illustrations and books.
Fantastic. Well, my trip to your part of the world was most beautiful. I
Yeah,
had a lovely week through there.
yes.
So Mohammed, you're writing for Bree Books.
Yes, sir.
Oh, lovely. Where is your book? Show it to us.
Sir, I have not ordered it.
You have not ordered
It's
it.
on website.
Lovely. So you should send one to my good school. We'll put it here.
Sir, sir, what is your question?
Yeah. सत श्री अकाल जनाब की हाल है ਤੁਹਾਡਾ
We have Ragini, ma'am, from DCM Group also. I misunderstood.
So DCM group is wanting to join us.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what she told me yesterday.
Good. God bless them.
I just misunderstood because of the similar name.
Jugji sir, have you sent the link to your guest?
Yes, I have sent.
Okay, lovely.
I'll just send a reminder.
Yeah, we are ready. She was the one who had little time, so I thought we should push her first. So Jugi, you'll get it going as always, and when you guys are tired, I'll come in to read that one little chapter. Okay? So take your time. We have all the time as long as you can hold your guest. Arey, unmute first, Jugjeev Saab.
Arey, all this while you've not heard me. Arey.
Listen, you take your time, and who's helping her with the presentation? She mentioned she has a presentation.
Because I think somebody will have to help her because she
Yeah.
is out somewhere.
Yeah, where's the
Yeah.
presentation? Who's got the presentation?
We've all got it, yeah.
Okay, so just make sure that someone is there to handle the presentation because she'll be on her phone.
Yeah. But I think that we should first do a little bit of Q&A before we do the
Yeah,
presentation.
presentation has to be at close when we want to know more about what she's doing. That's a better point. Or maybe some questions after that. Whichever way, just get the flow going. But yes, I agree with you. First, the chat is essential.
Uh-huh.
And where's the boss?
So no, that I think this is how we should do it, right?
Hey, where's the boss, man?
Rishona joined. She's there.
Oh, boss, you have to come into the studio with camera, lights, everything on. As we want to congratulate you for being school captain for 2025. Let's give the boss a big hand and make her super boss. Boss, you have to get a crown now. You have to get a crown for you to wear inside. Someone should create a wallpaper with Zoom that Rishona sitting there, a crown will come on top. Okay, Rishona? Rishona, I had a meeting the other day with Rita, man, at your school, and Brinda, man. And you may have seen me, I popped in for a few moments. Yeah. It was a lovely day, and they had good to say about you. Yes, hold the flag of my good school. Way to go. All your school captain. Let's give her a big hand, please. Please give a big hand to your school captain. Please mute, 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 mute. There are too many of us. Watch your mic, mute yourself, or I'm going to bully you. Then you'll put me under POSCO Act for bullying you on the internet by doing that to your mic. जुगजी वैसे ही होगा कल को हम किसी को म्यूट करेंगे वो पॉस्को एक्ट में केस कर देगा हमारे पे कि इन्होंने मुझे म्यूट कर दिया जूम में तेरी आवाज बंद कर दी फिर क्या करेंगे
हम तो जय हिंद ही करेंगे
हम जय करेंगे मनीषा यू हैव कंट्रोल ऑफ ऑल द पैनल एंड एवरीथिंग
Yes, sir.
होस्ट कंट्रोल्स ऑल विद यू वांट टू चेक
Yeah, I would.
जस्ट चेक बिफोर वी शूट
everything's under control except Anika.
give her a call
She's coming. She told me that she'll be joining in a minute or two. Sir, I don't have the host control, but
No,
sharing screen, yes, I have.
that's the question we need to figure out how to do that I did yesterday but I've forgotten today morning okay enable waiting room so I think what I need to do is give up my host control then only I can help you yeah let me do that way okay now it says leave meeting assign and leave yeah that's the way to do it so Jugjeev I think I'm going to say bye to you you got it Manisha Manisha got it
Sir, I'm checking.
hey I've been out and come and you not checked
So maybe we can just go to the Joy of Learning diary.
yeah do that do what you want in the meanwhile sing the song na do the my good school
Anika ma'am joined.
Hi everyone.
Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Jai Hind. So, Rishona,
Yes, sir.
over to you.
I'm so glad to have you here, ma'am. If you're comfortable, shall we begin with the event?
Yes, absolutely. I'm here.
So I'll just start with a quick introduction. So Anika ma'am is a social artist and she works with arts for public health and social change messaging. She started her journey in the development sector when she was 14 years old, and in recognition of her social work, she has represented India at several international conferences, including the World Youth Congress, for which she was selected out of 150,000 students to represent the voice of India in the development agenda. She's worked with WHO and other UN agencies for more than 10 years. When she was young, she met Dr. Abdul Kalam, then the President of India, and he encouraged her to continue to create a better world through an initiative, Art for Activism. She kept her promise to him and now runs.
slowly this is not Vande Bharat Express this is Learning Express
And now she runs her organization, VOYCE, VOYCE with a Y, and it stands for Vision and Opportunities for Youth and Community Empowerment. VOYCE is one of the largest portfolio for films and public health in India. They also do very interesting publications and other creative work. In 2022, she started her Returning to Love RTL Foundation to inspire people to operate from a space of love. Today, she's going to share with us about her upcoming Returning to Love event on 12 January 2025, the theme for which is celebrating oneness, intelligence, love, and UN SDG champions. Over to you, ma'am, if you would like to share a few words.
Hello, everyone. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rishona. That was a very interesting introduction. And thank you. How old are you?
I'm 12.
Okay.
That's not a
So
good question to ask.
He's the boss.
Today,
No, because
today
I'm connecting
teenagers
with
will.
my
I said today you ask a young person, you will lose the heart. Never ask the age, not in today's day.
No, I asked this question because, I was your age when I started with my journey. So, I was trying to connect with that. You started earlier than what I did. So,
Lovely.
congratulations on that. Very nice to see everybody. I see the Sunbeam School, which is here. I see Manisha ma'am. Some of the names that I'm familiar with. I'll start with my presentation. Manisha ma'am, am I a co-host? Can I share my
No,
screen?
no, Anika. I think it's a little better if we talk a little bit because let people get to know
Right,
you a little bit and then we'll do the presentation if that works for you.
right. That's okay. I had some slides for talking as well, but then
I
that's
know, I
okay.
know.
We can start with that. So, before I start, I just want to ask all of you what we are going to be talking about today. You've been attending a lot of sessions with Amardeep Singh as well, and you may have your own ideas about what is oneness, what is love. Let's get some of you to share what does this word oneness mean to you, and how important you think love is in oneness, or oneness is love. So does anyone want to talk something? Does anyone want to share something about these words? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say oneness? You can say a word, you can say a sentence. Anybody?
You can put it in chat, of course.
Or yes, you can write in the chat as well. And is English okay, or Hindi, or both?
Whatever works.
Yeah. Okay. See, I see some names here, so I'm going to call out your names, whoever I see on video. So, Tejas, I see you concentrating a lot. Tejas from 9D, Sunbeam School. Tejas, would you like to share what does oneness mean to you? Okay, Varun has written believe in the coexistence. I can't hear you, Tejas. Or
It's
Animesh?
Sunbeam Varuna. Ma'am, it's Deba from Sunbeam Varuna has written this. Believe in coexistence.
Okay, Deba. Thank you, Deba. Okay, somebody else has written it means identity. Okay. Anyone else? Does anyone want to unmute yourself and talk? Unity. Okay. Okay. Animesh, Priyanshu, even the adults can participate. Togetherness. Subhangi has written togetherness. Okay. So mostly these words, unity, togetherness, unity, togetherness. So, okay, togetherness with what? And unity with what? Like, is it just with human beings? Is it with other things, with nature? Coexistence, Diba, can you expand on that? Teamwork, okay. Tejas has written teamwork. Combining different culture also, your own self, okay. Togetherness with your own self. I think Ela Gautam has replied to my question. Thank you, Ela Gautam. And then with others. Okay, that's nice. Ela Gautam is saying that you need to have togetherness first with your own self and then with others. Okay. Anybody else? Somebody from the hostel? Sunbeam Hostel, Varuna? Does anyone want to speak from there? I see someone getting up. Being together or at once. Prince Raj is saying that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'll take it from here based on your answers. So basically what I feel is, and this is like part of one of my slides, together we can make a dream team. Muhammad Izan is saying that from VRI Books. Does anyone want to talk? I would love to hear your voice. Anybody would like to talk? Rishona, you can also participate. If you, I see you thinking something and wanting to talk.
Yeah, she has some questions ready for you. Why don't you do the Q&A with her? She has worked very hard to do that for you.
Okay. Yes, Rishona, do you want to ask something or you want to share something?
Before that, since you were talking about oneness, to me, I believe that oneness is knowing that we all are one, and there, even though we may look different or talk differently, there is really no you and I and difference between us, because really we are all one. And when I say we, I just don't mean humans, but with nature, with animals, and any creature, we are just one together. That's what to me.
Has anybody experienced this in any form, like, you know, where you really felt you were existing with nature? Like, you know, it could be a starry night at the beach with the waters, or sometime when you became really present to life around you, where you were able to pause and you saw that, yaar, hum mein koi farak hai hi nahi between me and the other person. Does anyone have a story around that? It could be with another person, it could be with nature, or you know, any experience that you've ever had. It could be in your bus, it could be in your classroom, it could be anything that you studied, that you became present with this whole idea of oneness. Yeah, okay. Ela Gautam's written that. I agree with you. When you have this moment with somebody and you have exactly the same idea, and you're like, oh my God, maybe I sochi thi, you know, like that moment when your visions become one. Yes, that's a beautiful example. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else where you have that moment? You know, there's a word, everybody's heard this word, Vaheguru. है ना? I'm a Sikh, so we've always grown up with this word, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. So I'll tell you my story, my oneness moment. So basically, Vaheguru is Va Guru. Va is W-A-H, Va, wow, Guru. तो you know, when you're in nature and आप एकदम से एक बहुत beautiful sunset देख रहे होते हो या कोई moment ऐसा experience कर रहे होते हो, so you know that thing that comes within you, that wow Guru, क्या बात है, you know, like that kind of a thing. So that's what it is. So अब ना मैंने ये शुरू कर दिया लिखना. This was my wow Guru moment. So same with people also, when I'm chatting with somebody और एक बहुत amazing idea आता है या कुछ ऐसा होता है, तो वो भी एक वागुरु moment होता है. So oh my God, that was a वागुरु moment for me. So this is my way of saying, like, you know, expressing or experiencing oneness. And it's really beautiful, you know, like how life starts working for you. So at this point, I think I'll like to show some of my slides as well. But before I go there, Rishona, did you want to ask me something, or is it connected with the presentation?
Actually, like when we do meet and greet, we usually like to do a little Q&A session where we just like to interact with our guests based on their just a few general questions about their life journey and how they came about this. So I was wondering if it'd be okay if I could like ask a few questions, and then if anyone from the audience would like to ask a few questions.
Sure, absolutely. Let's start with that. Yes, I would love for all of you to get to know me a little bit, before I get into that space. I'll let you lead that. Yes, Shoshana.
So the first question is that it is believed that any sort of art holds a certain power, a power to change, a power to lead, a power to move hearts. So how do you believe that this power of art came to life with your project?
So, Rishana, like you shared in the beginning about me, um, I was, somebody who used to go to slums. I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, and then I'll answer your question. So, in our school, we used to have community service, and interestingly, right now I'm sitting in my school. My nephew's in the same school, and we have a school fete, so that's where I am right now, Springdale School. So. We had a subject called community service, and through that I used to visit slums. And while we had our own curriculum of what we had to do there, I got very interested in children there, and I started to do something called wealth from waste. So I gathered things in their homes and started to make things from, like a pen stand or some useful things for the children, and they started getting very excited. And then I got so excited with this whole thing that I started to go even after school. So a lot of my friends would either play basketball or do things or go for parties and have their own other activities. I would go to slums and work with these children in the evenings and to come home late. That's where my journey started, and I think arts came into my life. And then I did a lot of other things, signature campaign, Save the Tiger, and a lot of I started talking about the Millennium Development Goals. What are today the Sustainable Development Goals? And then based on my activism, I got selected to represent India. So I did this project called Art for Activism, okay, and I got the funding from UK, and I started to support a lot of artists. वो लोग बहुत कभी कभी आपको बहुत सारे आर्टिस्ट मिलेंगे जो बहुत अच्छी चीजें बनाते हैं, बट उनकी जो चीजें होती है वो मार्केटेबल नहीं होती बिकॉज डिजाइन में कोई कमी होती है या कुछ like they are not able to market their product. So I started to do that. So that was my first interaction with arts. Uh, the moment where I realized the power of arts for social change, Shona, now answering your question, was so I worked with the World Health Organization for 6 years. आपने सुना होगा World Health WHO. So मैंने इंडिया ऑफिस के साथ और रीजनल ऑफिस फॉर साउथ ईस्ट एशिया के साथ 6 years के लिए काम किया. We worked with 11 countries. So in my role, I handled some very, very big campaigns, and one of them was in 2017. We talked about depression. ठीक है, तो जो हमारा हेडक्वार्टर्स का कैंपेन था, बिकॉज डिप्रेशन थोड़ा डार्क सब्जेक्ट है, मेंटल हेल्थ, तो उनका जो आर्ट वर्क था ना वो थोड़ा सा डार्क टाइप था. मुझे लगा यार लोग ऑलरेडी डिप्रेस्ड हैं और फिर आप कुछ और डिप्रेसिंग उनको दिखा दो, सो दिस वोंट वर्क. सो मैंने अपनी रीजनल डायरेक्टर से बात करी और मैंने उनको बोला कि लेट्स वर्क फॉर आर्ट्स फॉर पब्लिक हेल्थ फॉर दिस कैंपेन, understanding depression through arts. So we had an art competition. Then we also did, हमने dance choreography बनाई, to talk about, for people to understand depression. फिर एक form होता है sand art, हमने उसके साथ काम किया. फिर हमने art therapy करी. फिर we made 2 musical videos. We made films on animation. फिर हमने schools के साथ outreach projects किए where we had face painting and those kind of things. We worked with old age homes. So हमने पूरे साल ना बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें करी. That campaign had so much effect on me, and so many people, came to me, wrote letters of how this had an impact on them. People who were going through depression, and also other people who were learning about depression. The stereotypes, breaking the stereotypes around depression. So that campaign really changed my life, and I was reminded of what Dr. Abdul Kalam had told me, that please carry on this message of art for activism. So that's how I decided to leave my very fancy job in WHO. I was earning very, very well. I was in a very powerful position there, and I left all of that to start my organization called VOYCE, which stands for Vision and Opportunities for Youth and Community Empowerment. Or now we work with arts for public health, or रिटर्निंग टू लव जो मेरा फाउंडेशन है वो भी उसमें भी हम यही करते हैं. Arts is the base of everything that we do. So yeah, it's been great, and lot of people are responding to this. So I'm very happy with that. That the UN and people in policy makers, Ministry of Health, उनको ये चीज समझ आ रही है. So we've done a book on alcohol, on suicide prevention. We told the story of Maldives was the first country जिन्होंने अपने doors खोले थे COVID के बाद. तो उनके ऊपर हमने एक बुक करी through human stories. So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and now we have one of the largest public health portfolio in India. So हमने बहुत कुछ किया है last 4 years में. So it's been quite magical, and plus it keeps me young and happy, and I get to work with children like you and with schools like you. So that's the perks of my job.
Thank you for sharing that. Another question related to that. So you mentioned that you've been doing a lot of work focused in healthcare, and I was really curious to know how are you like able to successfully portray healthcare in the form of art and then connect that with the audience in an optimistic and positive manner.
So I'll give you an example. So in this campaign, there are certain things that come to us from headquarters when we're working on campaigns, certain messages that come. So जैसे एक आया था, depression is an illness. It's not your fault. So what we did, जितने भी हमारे messages थे ना depression के, we turned them around and we converted them into positive affirmations. So हमने उसकी बहुत colorful illustration बनाई, and we said that I feel wanted, loved and respected. ठीक है. फिर एक और है, I like to focus on things that make me feel good. Like instead of making it very preachy that आपको इतनी exercise करनी चाहिए, आपको ये खाना चाहिए, अपना ध्यान ऐसे रखना चाहिए, हमने उसको बहुत fun way में affirmations के साथ, we have these colorful illustrations. Maybe another session at some point we can do where I can share this with you, and I can give you messages, and I can ask you to kind of think of an affirmation and draw something. So Manisha, maybe at some stage we can do this as a separate session, because it would be very interesting for you to see. So we are like an ad agency. So हमें जैसे कोई concepts आते हैं, so we have to crack it and see that how we can decode it and present it to people, like so they can get it. So yeah, yes, Ila Gautam, we'd love to have you also. Maybe we can do that as a workshop at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So then
That's
it
a
won't
good
be a
idea.
question. Then you'll all experience it.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Anika. Thank you for that.
Wonderful for everyone.
I also be really looking forward to a workshop like this. It sounds really interesting. And on to my next question. Like when we talk about making a change in this world, we often think of big things. And I believe that change can be in the smallest, most unique of things. So, what would your advice be to youngsters out there about this?
So again, I take a lot of my inspiration from Gurbani, or from things around me in spirituality. So there is a word karta purak, which is like which means like karta is like when you're doing things. My advice to young people is to use your hands and your mind and to do things. Always, if you have to be like the creator, so the creator has created things, so always make sure that you are in the energy of creation. So we consume a lot of content, we consume a lot of information around us, but we don't create original things. We do our homework. That is not creation. So even today I have a discipline of creating things in my life. No matter how busy I am, I always take the time. Like I have this whole cupboard in my office where whatever, like if we've ordered a coffee, also the coffee cups will be there. I'll use coffee capsules, so I have like 4,000 of them. We make puppets out of those. So I make sure that in my day, I do something. Sometimes even if it's on a post-it notes, I don't print things, I write things. So yeah, my best advice. So many of your life's problems going further, people talk about depression and anxiety and stress. A lot of these things can be taken care of when you're in the energy of creation. Then your mind is able to solve problems, or able to, you know that you can find a connection through that with yourself. So yeah, that's my piece of advice.
Thank you for sharing that. And my last question is that you mentioned that you left WHO as a very good job for working in this organization. So, did you at any point feel that this was a wrong risk, or maybe you shouldn't have done that, or any regrets regarding it?
Oh no, absolutely not. I was working with two offices that time, one at one point, and now I work with 16 WHO offices around the world. So I have just, and I said this to them. I left on a very good note. My boss was very, very supportive. He was from Thailand, so he's still there. And I told him that I feel I can do more from the outside than inside. And I just want to be your extended arms. So no regrets at all, because I'm still with the same people and I'm still doing a lot of things, but just that I have more liberty with the projects I choose and what I do with my time. Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering all those questions. I'll ask the audience if they have any questions for you, so we can go on with that, or we can move on to your presentation.
I have
Right.
a quick question.
Yeah.
This is Jugjeev, Anika. I just was
I
wondering,
just,
uh, you've been working with underprivileged communities for a long time, right? So, what do you think you've gained as a person from that?
sorry, Jyoti, you said which communities? Disadvantaged
You
communities.
worked with underprivileged
Right,
communities for a
right,
long time.
right.
So, that what have you sort of what do you feel you've gained from that?
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is this: my vocabulary has changed. In how I view the world. Like you use the word underprivileged, I like to use the word disadvantaged. Communities, because in some ways they're disadvantaged, but they have so much to give. Honestly, I feel that I've gone to them as learners, as learner, as a seeker, and I have just become present to abundance in a very different way. So I don't know how much I have taught them. I have learned a lot. So yes, I think the biggest thing that I have gained from my time with them is becoming present to abundance, in my own life, and to be able to recognize abundance in the lives of others, and to see it so closely, to know that it is for real. So yes.
Right. Thank you. So, a lot of gratitude is what was one thing that I take from what you just said. Uh,
Yes.
you know, I was reading somewhere about, some experiences that you've had. I think it was with Pradhan. If you could just share some one or two interesting stories, and some fantastic stories that you come across on this full journey.
um I have so many of them. I'm thinking like which one to kind of start with. So this is about this girl. She lives in the condo that I lived in, and she was 14 when I met her. And she was really an introvert, and she had very few friends in the condo. Um, I realized that when I saw her world very closely, I actually found her on Instagram, and I saw that she's got this beautiful talent of explaining, a lot of difficult concepts, which, as public health professionals, we struggle with, and do it through arts. And I got so excited about that. So this was not just something that resonated to me at a professional level, but also opened so many doors in terms of recognizing personalities. Like sometimes, if somebody is behaving in a certain way, how you can find inwards, things about them if you look at their world more closely. So with Elena, her name is Anika Singh, I spoke to her mother and then I said that I wanted to work with her and we wanted to make a film on explaining mental health conditions through art. So we did that and, we found the funding for that as well. And it's on my website, the film, Mental Health Conditions Through Arts. And it turned out to be so beautiful to understand depression, to understand schizophrenia, these kind of concepts. So the book is also very interesting because we got students to we had a doctor who said the difficult definition of that condition, and then we had Elena explaining it in a simpler way. So, of course, it was a lot of direction and a lot of work that went in. And today she's written 2 books, and they are #1 on Amazon Children's Book. I'll share the links, and she's studying at University of Berkeley. So, it's been a very interesting journey, and yeah, I saw a lot of me in her and she's one of my star students with VOYCE. So that's one story I thought could be very inspiring for everybody. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. If folks have questions, feel put up your hand or put it in chat and we'll take it. Somebody, maybe of interest to some folks as to how do you, if somebody wants to join an organization like WHO, how do you go about doing that?
Well, WHO, that is one thing that I kind of struggled with because it took them a long time to understand the importance of communication because the emphasis has always been on having more public health professionals. If it's about gaining experience, if it's about brand, it's a different thing. But a lot of students have worked with VOYCE, they've done the internships, and they've had the experience of working in a development sector on some of our projects. So yes, that's there. With WHO directly, they do have internships that open up. There's a website where one can look for it. But yeah, UNICEF, WHO, there's a UN portal that you can look at and apply for that. But I feel it's about getting your hands dirty, going in the field, doing things, working with organizations like us as well. So, the focus should be on learning. And these brands come, it's a byproduct of that. It's a byproduct of having a learner's attitude.
Right. Thank you for that. So we can come back to the Q&A. I don't want to make sure you have enough time for your presentation and whatever, that piece of it. So Manisha, do you want to share that?
Yes, sir.
Because I think Anika may not be able to share it because she's, so Manisha will share the presentation, Anika, if you like.
Okay.
And
sure. Manisha ma'am, you have my PPT also, no? Manisha ma'am, this is the PDF. Can you share the PPT? I shared on WhatsApp with you.
Ma'am, for this time, will this do for the time being?
Okay. Is the screen size okay for everyone?
Yeah, for me at least, I'm on a computer. Yeah, it's fine for me.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
So this is the logo that we have for Oneness Intelligence. So now Rajni ma'am was asking about the book and the illustrations. So Rajni ma'am, here's your answer in this presentation. So this is a call to all the artists and to Oneness lovers and UN SDG champions. We can go further, ma'am. So this is the logo that we have. Basically, what is the end in mind? There are 2 things. One is the event that is on 12th of January. It's called Returning to Love, and we're celebrating stories of oneness, intelligence, love, and UN SDGs through visual art. So it's like an exhibition of art that we're going to have. And I'm here to invite entries for that. And we also have a book that is coming up, which is called Celebrating the Oneness Intelligence. So, you know how you have the artificial intelligence, which is AI. This is one I, which is oneness intelligence. So I'll talk to you more about that. We can go aage, ma'am. We can go further. Okay. So this we guys have already done. What does oneness mean to you, and is love important for oneness? And I'll talk to you more about how oneness and love connects with the development agenda. Now we can go further. I want you to look at this logo, and what does it mean to you? So let me share how I came up with this word oneness intelligence. So basically, in my journey, what I felt was I started to notice, and we all have seen this at some point, I've just given it a vocabulary, which is that there is an intelligence in the world जिसके साथ सब कुछ हो रहा है, right? If you look at a lotus flower, तो वो एक एक करके उसके the petals open up. Then how the sun comes in and how the sun sets, in the nature around you, day turning into night, night turning into day. So the way a baby happens, comes into the world. So there is an intelligence through which this world is going on, and I like to call it the oneness intelligence. Now, how do we as humans access this intelligence? For that, we need to be in our oneness. And what is oneness? In one word, it is when there is no otherness, right? जब हम अपने आप को लोगों से, नेचर से, चीजों से अलग नहीं समझते, when there is no separation, so that is oneness. तो जब हम इस एनर्जी के साथ connect होते हैं, oneness energy के साथ, so this intelligence starts working for us. A lot of people call it manifestation also, but this is little different from manifestation, because there is no desire of having something like, a car or a house or something like that. It is just feeling that you're one with things around you. So that is the difference. So, एक को drop होती है, it feels that it's part of the ocean. So when we as human beings start feeling that we are part of the whole, so that is oneness for me. So jab this oneness energy becomes a way of life, so life becomes a celebration. And hota kya hai, you feel at home everywhere. You feel connected with everyone and everything. जहाँ पे कोई strangers ही नहीं होते, कोई new lands ही नहीं होते, everywhere you know that you'll be protected. It's not about my friend or my family or my ghar or my school. So there's this whole thing that you just feel connected everywhere. And everything you say or do comes from that space of oneness and that deep love. Ma'am, we can go further. So now connecting this oneness energy with love. So basically, जो लोग इस energy के साथ connected होते हैं, love comes very naturally to them. It's very organic, this love coming in. So like I was saying to you, there's artificial intelligence that helps us to do tasks faster and more efficiently. Oneness intelligence is about contentment. It's about having a higher sense of purpose, and connection with everything and everyone. So, it pervades in everything, like even the breath that we take, in our thoughts, in our actions. So we start working from that space. Ma'am, we can go further. Now the missing link for me was जब भी मैंने oneness की बात करी है किसी के साथ भी, I started to work on a book on oneness about 4 years ago, in 2019. So I invited art entries that time. And you won't believe all the art entries that I got were around one humanity. And they were around, you saw कि basically Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, hum sab ek jaise hain, those kind of things. And there were things about langar. While it is those things, it is not only those things. So मुझे लग रहा था कि this is becoming only about spirituality. And I often ask myself that if Nanak was living today, then he would be talking about what? I'm working with Shivpreet Viji, and we have an organization called Dhunanand. So what we do through that organization is we serve artists who are serving the planet. And this is VG who always says it, that if Guru Nanak was there today, he would be talking about climate change and he would be talking about peace. So जब तक हम अपनी spirituality को real things के साथ real world में नहीं जोड़ेंगे, we won't get ahead. And the UN Sustainable Development Goals gives us a little bit of a framework for that. So we can go further, ma'am, to the next slide. I want to show the diagram. So this is what we are saying. These are the 17 goals that we have. I feel these are not goals. This, these 17 goals are a byproduct of being in alignment with yourself and having love in your heart. जब आपकी alignment होएगी, ये development goals अपने आप हो जाएंगे. You don't have to have big strategies for that. A person who is aligned will automatically work towards these goals. And that's why for this book on oneness intelligence and for our event, we want to give real stories to people. Like Jugiv ji was asking about stories. You know, I'll take you through the process कि किस तरीके से आपको story के बारे में सोचना है. But अब आप देखो, poverty के बारे में बात करते हैं. अगर आपको पता है, there's no difference between me and them. You know, so you will find solutions for people who are disadvantaged around. Zero hunger, जो हमारी लंगर सेवा start हुई थी गुरुद्वारों में, वो अपने आप नहीं हुई थी. Guru Nanak was in his oneness, so he started this whole thing. He institutionalized equality in that sense. It was a byproduct of oneness. ठीक है? Then good health को देख लो आप. Then quality education, gender inequality, gender equality, sorry, clean water and sanitation. You can pick up any goal from here and you will be able to see a connection, you know, with oneness and returning to love. So what I want, you know, all of you to do as an exercise, ma'am, we can go on the next slide. Think of examples where living in oneness and love leads to positive actions for the environment or efforts towards zero hunger, education, responsible production, or in creating a more exclusive and peaceful world. So this slide is the crux of, you know, what I'm trying to share with all of you. This is the slide. We can go further, ma'am. Next slide, per. So we are inviting art that celebrates this oneness intelligence. So how should you get started? If you're thinking of submitting an art entry, so how do you get started? You don't start with the art, you start with thinking. So the first step is you think of someone who's living in oneness, aapke aas-paas, and it doesn't have to be someone you know personally. Maybe there's an actor, maybe it's Diljit Dosanjh that you think of, that he is in his oneness, he is in alignment with himself and the world around him. It could be anybody. So first you think of them, then you see how do they practice oneness, how are they doing it, what do you see in their life that makes you feel that they are aligned, and is love the guiding mantra what they do? Then how does this reflect in their actions and life choices? जैसे दिलजीत दोसांझ की बात करें, what kind of concerts he's doing, what kind of people he's associating with, what kind of movies is he picking up, right? So उनकी life choices में वो कैसे reflect कर रहा है, and are they creating greater impact by honoring this oneness intelligence, including in addressing the UN SDGs? Then you see that what kind of impact are they creating. Like for example, now you would say how would he create impact UN SDGs के साथ? He's working with music, he's bringing people together. So you know, it is music can go beyond boundaries, so you can connect it with mental health and well-being, right? Or if you go deeper into his life, I have not researched on him, I just thought of this example right now. So maybe you find something where you feel that he's creating a greater impact, you know, which connects with these development goals. So the whole idea is that we want people's understanding of oneness to expand beyond one humanity. We want to inspire people to, live this life. Somehow, fortunately or unfortunately, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, in today's world. So the consumerism is growing because of that, because they have understood this. But somehow in the spiritual world, we have not understood this. So to get people on board, or even to inspire them to live a life, where they are connected with their own selves, which we all know is beneficial, um, we have to show examples through our art, where people are able to recognize, practice, and celebrate oneness. Okay, ma'am, we can go further. Why art? This we all know, that for people to get this message, अगर मैं जाके preach करूंगी, लोगों को बोलूंगी या ये presentation पे दिखाऊंगी, so it won't create so much of a difference. You will forget about it. You will be like, हाँ ठीक है, आज अनिका मैम आई थी, बहुत अच्छा सेशन था, that's it. बट जब आप आर्ट देखोगे, किसी ने कुछ ड्रॉ करा हुआ है, कोई थॉट डाली हुई है उसके अंदर, that art, that visual memory will stay with you. It gives you an opportunity to reflect on oneness and impact it can create. We can go further. Guidelines क्या हैं? Like these are the practical question कि क्या करना है. So you can use any form of visual arts here. Painting कर सकते हो, आप sketching कर सकते हो. I am more of a craft person, so I personally like to, I'll share one of my art pieces with you that I made on oneness. So I like to do those kind of things, through photography, through model. अच्छा, photography में I will not, मतलब हम या तो photo के through कर सकते हैं. There's also another style that you can pick up, which is like photo के ऊपर आप कुछ draw कर सकते हो. Like जैसे अगर ये हाथ है, so if you are seeing, you see these ripples there. Maybe in the center ripple, I would like to make a small heart, or I would like to say something, which is beyond what I am able to see here. So you can do basically just be creative, but it has to be a visual art form. And the size of the painting also depends on you, since we will be exhibiting this. So minimum, A2 size would be good. A3 थोड़ा सा छोटा हो जाएगा, उससे थोड़ा सा बड़ा if it's possible. You can do canvas, you can do like, on a sheet of paper, like pastel sheet, and we'll get it framed then. So I'll leave that decision to you. If you are talking about a certain organization or a person who inspires you, then you can also share additional photographs with this, printed photos, and also scanned copies. Just say, we can in the book add those photographs also to give the same message. So you can be very imaginative here. The art piece should not be copied. It should be an original design and a first-hand creation of the participant. It should be accompanied with an impact story in about 300 to 350 words. And you can write that story in a creative form, in poetry, as a storytelling, as you like. Basically, you have to crack this idea ताकि लोगों को ये बात समझ आ जाए. पहले तो आपको समझ आए, और फिर अपने कोई भी फ्रेंड के बारे में सोचना कि जब वो पढ़ रहा होगा या वो पढ़ रही होगी, उसको ये चीज समझ आएगी अच्छे से जो मैंने ड्रॉ किया है. So that's the whole idea. And these are general things like your full name, age, gender, all that you can add there, and your contact details. Okay. We can go further. Now, where will this art be displayed? It will be displayed at this venue that we've shortlisted. This is not the picture. This is of the Craft Museum where we were planning it earlier. So it will be at this place called Punk, which is in Punjabi Bagh. It's a beautiful venue and very artistic. So we will be having like an exhibition there. And later on, this will be in a book. We can go further. This is very interesting. So each entry that gets shortlisted, जो भी final होंगी, तो if your entry gets shortlisted for 12th Jan or the book, then for those entries, we are inviting, some people to review your art, some people who are subject matter experts. So these will be people from the UN, from WHO, from the UN SDG campaign UN SDG action campaign, which is in Germany, the headquarters. They are be inviting them also to review some of the art. सो बेसिकली आप एक अपनी इम्पैक्ट स्टोरी लिखोगे, फिर आपका आर्ट कोई एक सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट देखेगा, और एक आई विल बी शेयरिंग माय रिफ्लेक्शंस अराउंड इट. सो इट वुड बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कि आपने क्या सोच के बनाया और लोगों ने उसमें से व्हाट डिड दे सी इन योर आर्ट पीस. Okay, ma'am, we can go further. Yeah, so the last day for submission, वैसे we had written 26th December, but since it's already the 22nd, so I want to give you a little bit more time. So the last date is 30th December 2024. And basically 30th December इसलिए क्योंकि हमें shortlist करनी है उसके बाद, और we want people to even share their reflections, हमें frame करवाना होगा, we have to curate this exhibition, so we need bit of time for that. And if you want to discuss this art piece, if somebody wants to have one-on-one with me and talk in greater detail, I would say first step should be you do your own research. Ma'am can share a copy of this presentation with you. So आप पहले अपनी खुद की research करो SDGs पे, अपना concept थोड़ा सा develop करो, and uske baad, if any of you want a meeting with us, then we are 3 people in the team who will be available. It's me, and there'll be Rajiv and Neelu Singh. So our numbers are right here on the slides, and my email is there as well. So you can write to us. And also you can visit our website, returningtolove.in. That has all this information that I've shared on the website. And usme ek form hai, which is called Share Your Stories. There's one form for the sponsors and one for people who are contributing in form of the story. So you can open that form and you can fill it up, and you can let us know through that form that you intend to submit a art piece for this program. That's all from me.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Anika on what she's just presented? Any doubts? I mean, you can always ask. Meanwhile, I just want to share
Sandeep ji.
something with Anika.
Anika,
Yes, sir.
you are here.
Hello, sir. So good to see you.
You are here. That's my oneness first.
Oh.
Just quickly, Jugjeev, the basic conversation which Anika was having, I was typing in WhatsApp. So there is a flow of conversation and notes from what she said. And second, on the Joy of Learning Diaries, Anika, as soon as the session finishes, this caption, this conversation and details will come on the Joy of Learning Diaries. Because a lot of us here are sitting in rooms with 50, 100. So extrapolate the communication is huge. But unfortunately, in Zoom, you can't you can't unmute in a room of 50, 100. So
Right.
schools use this as a way of an extended audience lecture. It's not the best way, but that's one way of reaching out. So it's an outreach. So you will possibly have larger participation than the 50, 100 people you see on the screen.
Right. Right.
Thank you, Jugjeev. Over to you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Very interesting.
So Sandeep talked of the Joy of Learning Diaries. You should be able to see my screen, right?
Okay. Oh, that's your screen. Got it. The
Yeah,
joyoflearningdiaries.com. Right.
right. And I just, you know, this is, this is a Joy of Learning Diaries. And since you were talking of art, so this is Arav Kejriwal Class 8E Sunbeam School, uh, you know, piece of art in the Joy of Learning diary.
Sunbeam School Hostel in Varuna. That's where Diba
Varuna.
ma'am is from. Yeah, Diba ma'am put together these things and scanned and sent them to us. So thank you,
Yeah.
Diba, for helping us create literally a newsletter from your school. So Anika, we have a challenge. Now we have a few 500 people want to reflect. How do they come to us? You know the challenge you are facing in exhibition. Now we don't have any physical infrastructure, so our exhibition happens here. Now how we do it is every week a school curates a kind of a newsletter where they collect hand done pieces, and we don't want them to convert them to digitize. We want them to be appreciated hand done. So if you flip this document online, it'll have curated handwritten and hand done pieces. We appreciate that as much as photographs, as much as video, as much as any form of communication. Thank you. You give Dr. Ragini as a question.
Yeah, I know, but I just wanted to make a point here. This is Arav sending us a message, right? Using art, Arav is sending a message. Okay. So you can clearly see the right part is after human activity, what's happening, and the left side, and he's using animals as a mean, right? And you can clearly see the difference between the left hand side and the right hand side, right? So I was just trying to share with you that this is something that Arav has put together for the Joy of Learning diaries of using art to actually send the message. This is what you're doing. So I thought you may be pleased to see this.
Right. Yeah. It looks really nice. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Ragini.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I had a question with Anika ma'am that finally these paintings or the artworks will be published in a black and white or in a colorful one, because accordingly there are technically few things which we need to consider while making these drawings and paintings.
Black. It will be a colorful book. Very, very colorful book. Actually, ma'am. Yeah. So we encourage more colors. Yeah. And because we'll be displaying this also in the exhibition, so yeah, the brighter ones will look very nice. Yeah.
Dr. Ragini ma'am, please convey our gratitude to Amrita ma'am for connecting you to us. She spoke very highly of you. I was with her the other day. She spoke very, very highly of you. Bless you, Dr. Ragini.
Ragini ma'am is looking after arts, right? Yeah.
Actually, I was the head of department of Sunbeam working from last 21 years. And
Oh, wow.
the academic head of classes 6 to 8 years.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Anyone else has questions?
So I have a quick question if nobody else has. So what have you seen in your work so far as the biggest barriers to behavioral change?
Well, I think it is the willingness not to change. The mind is the biggest barrier. We all know that we can change, but we don't want to. So in our logo, Returning to Love logo, we have a butterfly. So we in fact don't even say change. We use the word transformation. A butterfly can never go back to being a caterpillar. It cannot. So that is the kind of change that has to happen, that you cannot go back to your old ways. And for that, we feel it has to start with the willingness to wanting to change. But one of the things that I have studied from John Hopkins University and Ashoka University, I've done 2 courses. So I feel that it's harder to change individuals. A better way to do that is to change the environment of people. We have in the past focused a lot on changing individuals and people. Somehow it is working in reverse. If you tell somebody, don't eat this, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, it is not working. It is not working. I don't know whether it is information overload or something. But if you create an environment, there's a word called nudge, which is cost effective ways in which you can introduce things in the environment which inspire people to change. Like you go to grocery stores, the kind of things they put at the start, the chewing gums, the things they want to sell. So that's what I'm saying. The capitalist world has got it. They know how to change our behaviors and influence our choices. We don't even know. There's so many things that we're eating without even realizing that. And we have to do the same thing, in changing people's positive habits. I'll give a very quick example. This really, stayed with me. So Coke inspires people to want more customers, right? So they came up with a very interesting. There was this very interesting video I saw, which is about kindness, and they captured scenes on the street, real life scenarios of people doing kind things. किसी का wallet गिर गया उसको जाके दे दिया, किसी को road cross करवा रहे हैं, कोई अच्छे से बात कर रहा है. So around the city they captured these amazing videos. So, and all of this happens. It's a story where that you're like, oh, like the whole thing. And in the end, it's an ad about Coke, having Coke, opening happiness. Yeah, kuch, I forgot the tagline that they had used. Now, what is the message they're trying to say? Feeling good, have Coke. Feeling good, have Coke. Feeling good, have Coke. And then have Coke, how it translates into your mind, have Coke, you will feel good. This is how behavior science works. So we need to find ways, like, when children are there, like through soft boards in schools, where do you put the right things? If children are going on Instagram, then activating ads where, while they are on Instagram, they are able to have this kind of information in their world. If there are games that they have access to, like, the kind of things that they play online, then how we can add things there, or the books that they read, if we can have interesting bookmarks on which there are messages for them that are created by children for children. So we can think of very interesting ways in which we can give these messages to them. And the other key is consistency in our messaging. So that has to be there. Sorry, I can go on and on about behavior change. It is my subject. I have developed training modules. I have given trainings in a few countries. I have written books. So yeah, you picked up something which I can go a lot. I can be talking a lot about. So I'll stop there.
Well, I hope we can talk some future stage on this because very of real interest. Just coincidentally, yesterday in the afternoon, I went to the Kiran Nadar Museum of Art, and there's a
Right.
lovely exhibition going on there called the Elemental You.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, it's
What
strange
was
of
it called, Chi?
the Elemental You.
Ah, interesting. And this is in the Delhi one, right?
Yeah,
Kiranadar
yeah,
Delhi.
in Saket.
Right, right,
So
right.
it's just
Okay.
very interesting to me how, yeah, I went for that, and today again we are talking art. So Sandeep, you
Wow.
want to come in, and then then we can give it back to Rishona.
Okay, Anika, thank you.
Yes.
A wonderful morning to bring together art and human form. I will
Thank you so much.
simply art and human form. I thought it was perhaps more important, not art form, but I added art and human form. So I kind of went beyond. And I think what you said in all your communication, it's more about the human form.
Hmm.
And if we can understand what the human form is, I think that is what you mean by critical thinking.
Hmm.
And if we know what the human form is, we will not get influenced by the consumptive ecosystem which exists today. We will think and then act. And bottom line of the SDG is very simple. Think before you do. And last full year or two, we've been working with a beautiful coach, Krista Campsall from Vancouver, who talked about mind, consciousness, and thought. We've been working with Amardeep on oneness, and we do look forward to working with Shivpreet. So, in all these things, what we're addressing, the simple thing, it's all about the magic of the human form. So,
Hmm.
looking forward to 2025, celebrating the magic of the human form. And I'm
Hmm.
sure you will find lots of entries from these people. So, all of you think what we all said this morning and don't start drawing, because when we met last week, I met almost 300-400 of you. Before I could speak, you had your chart paper and pen ready. How can that happen? Question to you. And then what you did? You didn't use the chart paper and pen, you talked. Then what you did? You wrote the stories. And then you came back to the chart paper and pen. And this is what Anika has just ratified today. And then after the chart paper and pen, what did you do? You exhibited. And when you exhibited, you didn't just give us a visual, you gave us a story from your heart. And
Mm.
what we did last week at the schools in Varanasi, we did something like youth engaging society. So, engaging society is perhaps a better way of explaining complicated 17 goals and 17 SDGs and the complications which go into policy and design. And what you did beautifully today was communication. And
Mm.
Jugjeet always shouts back saying, remember the 6 C's at my good school. And that's why my good school exists. It starts with critical thinking and goes to citizenship via
Mm.
character building, via collaboration, via communication. And that's our journey. I'm so happy that our hearts resonate. And that's where music is made. If you remember your physics, it's resonance. Music is nothing but resonance. And oneness is nothing but resonance.
Mm.
There's nothing in oneness beyond resonance. Now, if you can feel that resonance, you know what human form is. On that note, I still have Dr. Ragini who's so excited. Over to you, Dr. Ragini, before Rishona hijacks the mic.
That was the reason I raised my hand before it was hijacked. Any rules about the artworks to be in horizontal or vertical?
I'll let you decide that. You can do as you like. Portrait does work a little better, but there are certain things that cannot come in a portrait form. You need a landscape form, so I will leave that choice up to the artist. Yeah.
Dr. Ragini, human form is very diverse. Some of us are horizontal, some of us are vertical, some of us are diagonal. So let's appreciate that. I think that's the way the landscape starts. The human form is exhibited better in 360.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Boss, over to you. Anika, you have to congratulate Rishona. She's been renominated school captain for 2025. And she'll be
Excellent. Love it. Congratulations, Rishona.
Thank you.
Like I said, you started so young. I'm very excited about your journey.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a really wonderful session, and I hope that all of us here took something from it. And I look forward to personally being able to take part in the Returning to Love program. And I think quite a few of us would be interested in this project, and especially those of us who relate to art. It was really great to know about your journey and your experiences through this meet and greet, and I hope to see you again here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rishona. And I apologize to the group. I wanted to stay in longer, but it happens to be my nephew's school fete today. And we put a food stall. So he's been messaging me, please come, Bua. So I'll get going. And I look forward to interacting more with you on one-on-one. So please feel free to contact me and we can talk more. I'm
Thank
sorry
you
I
so much.
won't be able to stay on. But
No,
I
not
wish
at
you all
all.
the best. Yeah.
No problem. Lovely to have you. All the best. Yes. I hope
Thank
you
you
do
so
have
much.
good sales at the stall.
Yes, I hope to have fun actually more than the sales. Yeah. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Manisha ma'am. Sandeep, back to you.
well. Back to the my good school. Thank you all. I think that was a very interesting point. And here we are with gratitude. How uncannily I keep repeating things follow. So, Jugjeet, one is gratitude, learning all that in the morning, talking of the beauty of the human form. And I think when I say human form, I think I should say living form. That's where I need to correct myself. Because now we come to the inner life of animals. This is where oneness brings you. And someone said in your conversation so beautifully that oneness is about everything around you. So when you look around, she talked about the butterfly. And for that, we have gratitude. We are reading the book, The Inner Life of Animals. The chapter today is gratitude. Thank you, Manisha ma'am. Gratitude to you for holding us together. It should be clear by now that whether they are driven by their circumstances or our desires, whether they want to or not, animals love people. And of course, the reverse is true. So if you love animals, write a message for animals in the chat form. Shoot. I consider gratitude to be a closely related emotion, and animals can certainly feel gratitude as well. Owners of dogs with checkered pasts that have been welcomed into families later in life are particularly well placed to confirm this. I will tell you a story here. It was in the year 2017, and in 2017, my daughter Devyani was to get married. So we had a little dog. His name is Atom, a little pug. Atom used to walk with us in a place where we lived. We lived in Asian Games Village, New Delhi. So when Atom used to walk, one dog who was perhaps a little disheveled, you may call him a bhutia, but this is an Himalayan mastiff. He used to follow us around and he used to ensure that Atom, the little pug, is not harmed by anyone. Now, why that dog was doing that, we had no idea at all. We didn't know whose dog it was. We didn't know where the dog came from. But when Atom went for a walk, he was shadowed by the dog we call Kalu now. Now, this continued for an year. Then my daughter was getting married, and Kalu took very, very sick. He got tick fever. When Kalu got tick fever, we got concerned because what used to happen when we used to come back from a walk, Kalu used to come, sit outside our doorstep, and Atom from inside they used to talk. They never barked at each other, but they used to talk. So Atom became very fond of Kalu. Now, when became sick, we got concerned. And that's when we realized that, okay, we must get him to a hospital so that he comes back well. I know it was tough to have a free spirited dog to be captured and taken to a hospital. We did everything we could. 4 or 5 of us picked him up. We did everything. But anyway, we managed to get him into a car, dropped him to a hospital. And after 10 days, when he was cured by tick fever, when you have tick fever, you take out blood from your nose. So all our steps were covered with blood from the nose of Kalu. So when the story came here, after 10 days, the hospital called us that Kalu is better. He should be sent back to his familiar environment. He will become a better person or better living being there. So we requested them that please keep him there for the next 3 weeks as we are busy in the marriage of my daughter. So after 4 weeks, Kalu came back to his same place, feeling well. And then one day we opened the door of the house, he walked in. And as he walked in, after a few days, Atom passed away. For age, for kidney stones, Atom passed away, and Atom left behind Kalu with us. So here's the story of how love happens, the story of gratitude. So Atom was able to convey, perhaps Atom knew that my days are numbered, and Atom gave us Kalu. I hope you enjoyed the story. Our Cocker Spaniel Barry didn't come to us until he was 9 years old. Actually, after the death of our Munsterlander Maxi, now I can't get this, find out who Munsterlander is. It's a German word. If you can pronounce it better, unmute and pronounce. Maxi, we wanted to draw the dog chapter of our lives to a close. So they lost a dog. They said, no more dogs, like it happened in our life. Or so we thought, despite the fact that my wife, Miriam, was absolutely opposed to a new family member. Our daughter set out to convince us otherwise. She didn't get much resistance from me because I couldn't really imagine life without a dog. When my daughter accompanied me to an autumn market at a nearby country shop, both of us knew what was going to happen. The Euskerian animal, sorry, I can't get the pronunciation of these German words, animal shelter was going to have a parade of its guests, hoping to find homes for them that day. My daughter and I were hugely disappointed when only animals on display were rabbits because we already had plenty of those at home. After waiting around the market all day, making multiple tours of the stalls, here we were, confronted with the fact that there were no dogs. Right after that very end, there was an announcement that a future occupant was going to be shown by one of its former owners. Before being delivered to the shelter, Barry, our hearts beat faster. The dog was apparently extremely good natured, a model passenger in the car, and was neutered. Perfect. Find out what is neutered. We talk a lot about neutered today. We talk a lot about helping the streets with the neutered animals. We leapt up from the bench and stepped forward. A short test walk, a handshake to see the agreement for 3 days probation. And we took off right away with the dog in the car, headed for Hummel. Hummel is in Germany. The 3 day trial was important because Miriam didn't suspect anything yet. She came back late that night after an engagement. She was taking her coat off when my daughter asked, "Do you notice anything different?" My wife looked around and shook her head. "Then take a look down at your feet," I prompted. And in that instant it happened. Barry looked up at her, wagging his tail, and my wife took him into her heart, right there and then, for the rest of his life. And the dog was grateful that his long and arduous journey had finally ended. His owner, an old lady suffering from dementia, had to give him up. Perhaps that's how we got Kalu. Someone just gave him up at our doorstep. And Kalu had lived so well with humanity that even today he lives in our home, but he's not messed up even once. Even if he doesn't go out for 12 hours, he will never mess up. He's adapted so beautifully. He lives in our home even today. He's almost 15 now. Visually can't see, but can climb up 2 floors with ease and quietly sleeps all day, snug in his quilt. His owner, an old lady suffering from dementia, had to give him up. He had gone through 2 different families, and now he had found his home, forever home with us. It's true that for the rest of his life, he worried that there might be yet another handover. But other than that, Barry was always happy and friendly. He was grateful. It was as simple as that. Or was it? After all, how are you supposed to measure gratitude? Or almost as difficult to define it. If you check on the web, you find a lot of discussion for nothing definitive. Some animal lovers think of gratitude as their due, a response that many owners expect from their animals in return for the care they give them. I won't even bother to search for this kind of gratitude in animals, for it would merely be an expression of subservience. Find out what is subservience. Smacking of servility. So this sentence explains, you can guess it now. Essentially, and this is in reference to people, that emerges from most definitions is that gratitude is a positive emotion arising from an enjoyable experience caused by someone or something else. In order to be grateful, you need to be able to recognize that someone or life has done you a good turn. So we were talking this morning about returning to love. We were talking this morning about resonance. We were talking about you reach a stage where you can feel love. On a personal note, recently we hosted the My Good School retreat. And I'm sure when we ended the last week, a lot of us felt love. If anyone who was there from the My Good School retreat wants to express their love, please do this week. We'll be happy to accept it. So, love is when you go way beyond the figurative meaning of love. It's even more than artificial intelligence. It is all in. It is AI. Love is all in you. You have to find it. It's not outside. So often we're looking for love outside. Love is inside you. It's all in. It's AI. The Roman politician and philosopher Cicero considered gratitude to be the greatest of all virtues, and he thought dogs were capable of feeling it. But now it gets tricky. How can I know whether an animal recognizes who or what has caused this enjoyable experience? In contrast to the joy itself, which is easy to recognize in a dog, there's also the question of whether the dog gives any thought to the cause of its joy. They say, give a dog a bone. Maybe that's joy. I'm not sure if that is. It's relatively simple to answer this question. There's food for starters. The dog is happy about its meal and knows exactly who filled its bowl. In fact, dogs often encourage their owner to repeat the process. But is this really gratitude? Alpha, what do you say? I'm waiting for you to tell me something interesting here. Is it really gratitude? The dog gets more and more? You could just as easily call it begging. I think Alpha is thinking, let us think. Doesn't true gratitude include a mindset, a way of looking at life, and ability to celebrate small pleasures without constantly craving for more? Seen from this perspective, gratitude is when joy and contentment above circumstances that are not of your own making coincide. So, what is gratitude? Joy and contentment about circumstances that are not of your own making coincide. So, it's that moment. It's where you just fall in love, as simple as that. Unfortunately, this kind of gratitude cannot yet be proven in animals. We can do more than speculate about their inner outlook in life. In Barry's case, at least, my family and I are certain that he was both happy and content to have found his final home with us, even if we don't have any scientific proof. But how about other examples in the animal world? Might they shed more light on the issue? There is a story of a humpback whale in the Sea of Cortez of Mexico that put on an hour-long display of breaching the flipper flapping after a man called Michael Fishback spent hours cutting off a fishing net in which it had been hopelessly entangled. When Fishback encountered the whale, it looked as though it would not be able to survive for much longer. Whale is captured in the fishing net. Fishback immediately entered the water, armed with just a small knife. As soon as the whale was free, it put on a glorious acrobatic display. Perhaps it was just happy not to be entangled in the net any longer. Or perhaps it was performing for the people in the small boat to thank them for rescuing it from certain death. Then there is a story of gratitude closer to home about wild birds that voluntarily shared their treasures with a young girl in Seattle. Crows like to collect shiny things, and of course, crows also like to eat. When Gabby was 4, like many of our 4-year-olds, she was not particularly neat eater, and sometimes she dropped her food on the ground when she was outside. The crows lost no time snatching it up. A couple of years later, Gabby began intentionally sharing her lunch with the crows as she walked to the school bus. Then she began feeding the crows as a daily basis in her back garden. Soon after that, the birds began bringing her gifts: bits of glass, screws, pieces of bone, broken jewelry. One time, Gabby's mother Lisa dropped the lens of her camera when she was photographing the crows and thought it was lost, only to find it right there a few days later on the bird feeder. The crows had even carefully washed it before returning it. Is this gratitude? Perhaps. Crows are certainly known for recognizing people and for having strong emotional reactions to those who don't like. In this case, it seems like Gabby very much, and perhaps they were grateful and were thanking her for looking after them for all those years. Okay, please put a bookmark. We'll talk about lies and deception next time. Today was a day of gratitude. It was a day of returning to love. It was a beautiful day about understanding that when you find your love, you don't have to talk about it. We want to show love. We want to wear love. But do we actually feel the love? That's the question. And when you feel the love, that's gratitude. And sometimes we get carried away by saying where passion meets education. And that's why I wrote a book called My Good School Where Passion Meets Education. I always end up mentioning a book or two in our conversation with the hope that you will end up reading them and you will end up sharing reflections. That's where we are today. We need your reflections. On an exciting note, we had a beautiful almost a week in Varanasi. And now, what are we expecting after that week in Varanasi? Diba ma'am, are you here? From Leher Tara, Varsha ma'am, are you here? Leher Tara, anyone from Leher Tara? Is Varsha ma'am around? Hi Varsha. Varsha, we love you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. God bless
Thank
you.
you so much for loving me. We too,
Yeah, absolutely. Varsha ma'am, दो चीजें
sir.
हम चाहते हैं और डॉक्टर रागिनी आज विटनेस है और
जी.
करवाएंगे ये। हम चाहते हैं आपने मेरे से 5 दिन बहुत बंधुआ मजदूरी कराई, इतनी बंधुआ मजदूरी कराई, इतनी बंधुआ जैसे सनबीम है, एक एक सन की जो रे होती है उसका फायदा उठाता है. गुड फॉर सनबीम. आई ब्लेस सनबीम फ्रॉम दैट. दे नो, दे हैव अ विजन एंड दे नो एवरी स्टार इन द स्काई गिव्स देम लाइट. दैट्स द.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
अब हमको क्या करना है?
जी.
हमने इतना कुछ किया 4-5 दिन में, हमें कैसे पता लगे हमने किया? बताओ कैसे पता लगे?
Reflection
बस आप
भेजा है सर आपको.
जान गई, आपकी आंखों में बहुत रिफ्लेक्शन है, हम देख सकते हैं, बहुत अच्छे. अब असली बात यह है कि अब
जी.
हमारा आ रहा है माई गुड स्कूल न्यू ईयर ईव पे.
जी.
जो माई गुड स्कूल न्यू ईयर ईव पे होगा तो
जी.
सारे जो यंग लोग थे, इंक्लूडिंग यू एंड डॉक्टर रागिनी,
Yes, sir.
यंग लोग हमारे पास आएंगे अगले संडे. अब मैं बुली कर रहा हूँ. और अगले संडे हमारे को प्रेजेंटेशन देंगे बारी बारी
Hmm.
कि केवल पिछले हफ्ते में नहीं, उनका पिछला साल कैसा रहा. सो नेक्स्ट
With
संडे,
good school.
yes, next Sunday we will reflect. Yes, we will talk about the Yes workshop. Some of us may want to talk about that. We may talk about the master class some teachers attended. अभी तो उम्र पूछी थी आज सुबह मैम ने, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा बिकॉज मेरी तो उम्र 5 साल की है अभी भी. अगर मेरी उम्र 50 साल हो गई तो मैं सीख नहीं पाऊंगा. तो इसलिए ये उम्र का तकाजा ना करें. आप ये सोचें कि आप और हम एक दूसरे से ले क्या सकते हैं, दे क्या सकते हैं, और ग्रैटिट्यूड क्या होता है.
जी.
और हमने एक दूसरे से बहुत कुछ लिया. So let's celebrate that this year because I think it's important for us to understand this is the joy of learning, and we are entering into a new phase of life which is called joy of giving next year. So
जी.
2025 is a beautiful year for the joy of giving. This morning we have done an upgrade for our website. If you go to the website now, it's upgraded last night, ready for 2025. Website is very simple, schooleducation.com. Dr.
जी.
Ragini, did you hear about schooleducation.com? School and education are two words that connect us, and .com brings us together. So if you go to schooleducation.com, understand what is happening there. There are 4 things happening there. There is joy of learning, there are happy teachers, there's joy of giving, and youth are engaging with society. So this is what you'll see. So what we want next week is you telling us how you engage with society, how last week you found a new way of expressing yourself, how last week you found a voice where on Sunday at evening time in Diba Ma'am's school, you all got up and said, yes, we learned something this week. And yes, our school must help us more. जब तक आप अपनी आवाज नहीं उठाएंगे, जब तक आप स्टेक होल्डर एंगेजमेंट नहीं करेंगे तो कुछ नहीं होगा. अब हमारा स्कूल क्या है? हमारा स्कूल इसलिए है क्योंकि वहाँ वर्षा मैम टीचर हैं, डॉक्टर रागिनी टीचर हैं. स्कूल इसलिए है क्योंकि वहाँ टीचर हैं, और कोई कारण नहीं है. स्कूल है. स्कूल इसलिए नहीं है कि वरुणा में बिल्डिंग है, सन सिटी में लेक है. नहीं नहीं. स्कूल इसलिए है कि सन सिटी में देवर्श्री मैम है, सन सिटी में बहुत सारे लोग हैं मैम जैसे. मैं सिर्फ अपने चैंपियंस के नाम ले रहा हूँ, माफी मांगना, मैं सिर्फ फेलोज के नाम ले रहा हूँ आज. और डॉक्टर रागनी बार बार नजर आ रही तो मुझे उनका नाम लेना पड़ रहा है, सो वो मुझे ले वो मैं ले रहा हूँ. So but I'm committed to the fellows, and the fellows will now help you create and present next week what you understand by youth engaging society, because that I think is the goal for us in my good school. So it's not about what we did. हमने चार, like you will write, हमने 4 बुक पढ़ी, 6 सेशन की, 6 फोटो खींची ना, मुझे वो नहीं चाहिए. वो ऑलरेडी है जॉय ऑफ लर्निंग डायरी में. मुझे ये सुनना है आपसे, किसी भी फॉर्म में आप वीडियो बना दें, आप सेशन में आके बोले तो बहुत अच्छा. वीडियो की जरूरत नहीं है. अगले हफ्ते हम पढ़ेंगे कम और आपको पूरा 1 घंटा देंगे टू रिफ्लेक्ट, because I think that's where relationships are built. And after this 1 year, we've realized the power of relationships when we met. And next year, in
Yes, sir.
September, when we meet, we will put relationships to work. Because Anika is going to come there, Shipri is going to come there, and we are going to celebrate poetry, art, and music. And that's our joy of giving for 2025. So, Dr. Ragini, you'll have a greater role to play at my good school, and you lose Sunday mornings. I'm sorry about that to your family. I think they're used to you being what you are, so they'll have no regrets. They've anyway written you off for us, and we love you for that. Manisha ma'am, that's all I have. It's 1 minute past 12. I don't have anything more to add, but I wanted to emphasize that next Sunday is special, and only you can make it special. So we have to find ways and means where you can come on the screen and act your show. So वर्षा मैम खूब तैयार होके आना अगले संडे, अपना साड़ी वाड़ी लाल पिंक पहन के आना, और खूब हंसते हुए आना संडे स्कूल में, और औरों को लेके आना, और देवश्री मैम को बोलना बहाना नहीं बनाएंगे नेक्स्ट संडे, तो सारे साल के 366 डेज एब्सेंट हो जाएंगे अगर नेक्स्ट संडे नहीं आएंगी तो. ठीक है. सो लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू द संडे स्पेशल माय गुड स्कूल, and God bless you. I love every one of you, and my gratitude for accepting my banter. Keep thinking, keep writing. Love you all. Over to
Thank
you
you, sir.
and anyone else. Manisha, Ragini is saying something, I think. Ragini, you want to say something? Okay. Manisha, yeah, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I just want to take a moment for joining my good school and our shared learning experiences. Everyone's participation was very wonderful and lovely. See you the next week, where we all want you all to be decked up properly, and as the New Year's is also approaching. So please come, share your reflection, your thoughts about my good school and the journey you have traveled in the year 2024. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Rishona, you want to wrap up today? Rishona? We're happy to wrap up early today as a part of Diba ma'am. आप कुछ कहना चाहती हैं?
Yes, sir, Jai Hind. I just got to know that you are calling me, and just few minutes back only I have left the meeting. Actually, because BSCI conference is going on in our
Yeah, I
campus.
appreciate that. Sorry for calling you out and missing.
No, it's okay.
थैंक यू
My
सो मच फॉर ऑल यू डू. ब्लेस यू. बट आपको पता लग जाएगा क्या होगा, और ये अभी अगले 10 मिनट में जॉय ऑफ लर्निंग डायरीज में सब कुछ आ जाएगा जो हमने आज किया है. आप अपना व्हाट्सएप देखेंगे, उसमें भी कम्युनिकेशन थी. व्हाट वाज इंपॉर्टेंट इन अनिका's conversation is already there in my good school WhatsApp.
that's why I was there.
ठीक है, फर्स्ट
I
क्लास.
have just 5 minutes before I have left
No
the.
problem, ma'am. No worry at all. No worry at all. We love you. We love you as much. No problem.
Thank you so much.
Ishona, over to you to
So,
wind up this session.
okay, sir.
Ishona, are you there?
She
Anyone?
wrote that there's no network
Okay.
and some
Kunal,
electricity problem.
Kunal Rajpurohit, please come in. You can come in and do the closing of this session. Palash, you want to speak something? You speak very well. Ela, you want to add something? You left some comments in the conversation.
Sir, I'd like to speak.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Sir, this whole session was very important to me because I have always been dependent on, especially that oneness that we talked about in the first half of the session. I really loved that, and in the second half where we talked about gratitude, I felt that that was an amazing part that we should all follow uh, in our lives. And that gratitude is an important part of our lives. Thank you.
That's beautiful. I'm glad it resonated with you. And I said something. You know what resonance is? Two tuning forks. Has anyone seen resonance in physics? How does resonance happen? It happens when the tuning forks are put on a particular surface and you can hear the sound. That's the power of gratitude. We have two hands, we have two eyes, we have one heart. So when the hands unite, they can win all hearts. So love is in your eyes, love is in your hands, and take it to your heart. That's where you will find it. Bless you all. Kunal, you want to come in? Kunal is our fellow, and Kunal has grown up in my good school. We've had him here for 10 years in my physical my good school to where we are today. Priyanshu, Ria, I'm just shouting out names from the screen. Anyone from Sunbeam you wish to unmute because there's so many of you. Sunbeam Varuna, कोई unmute करके बोलना चाहता है, please बोलिए. I know it's not fair to have 50 people sitting in a room, but I guess कहीं तो हमको balance करना पड़ेगा. Some of us have got now headphones and mics. We have in Lehtara. We've also, I figured out the other day that even Bhangwanpur is getting some. So maybe I think some will come to Varuna and Sun City. So some of you will have devices and headphones in the future.
Yes, sir. From the next class, class ninth will attend from the with the headphone and all.
Oh, fantastic. So we
Yes.
possibly have more options for them. Century School, would you want to add something as you are our royal guest today? Veda, you haven't said anything today. Your art was very good. I hope you will send your art to Anika's competition. Veda from Sunbeam. I hope you can send your art. Sunbeam Varuna, sorry, I should specify because Sunbeam is Sunbeam. There's so many Sunbeams. Okay, that's all for now. So enjoy the Sunday, enjoy yourself, enjoy the sun. We are letting you go early so that you can go stand in the sun and enjoy the sunbeams. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Thank you. So your office is very nice, looking so beautiful camera.
Come, you work here now. We'll whack you from Sunbeam. डॉक्टर रागिनी ये बताना मत आपने माय गुड स्कूल में सुना कि हमने दीपा को बोला देहरादून आ जा ओके गॉड
बिल्कुल
ब्लेस यू
जरूर आएंगे इंशाल्लाह.
ना प्लीज आइए बल्कि अब रिट्रीट की तैयारी हो रही है अगली रिट्रीट है
Yes,
11
sir. We have started working on it.
अगली ना रिट्रीट आपके पास डॉक्टर रागिनी you should consider we have 3 retreats planned next year. We have one in April 11 to 14, the second one in November 13 to 16, and the last one in Varanasi, where we are there for 5 days in December. The dates will be somewhere around 9th and 14th. I'm not sure about the exact date. Anika will soon tell us. As we work, Anika represents Dhun Anand Foundation in India. Dhun Anand Foundation has been put together by Shivpreet Singh, who sings, who is a poet, who is an artist. He lives in California, and he says the purpose of my life is to sing. That's all. So he writes poetry, he decodes the writings of Guru Nanak, he sings all the possible saints in India and the world. So we will have him with us. He is an artist like an artist should be. He understands the pain of artists as teachers. And he wants to offer some healing so that he can look after teachers as artists. So that's why he set up the Dhun Anand Foundation. आप धुन का आनंद लेते हैं ना तो उसकी फाउंडेशन को भी स्ट्रांग बनाइए दैट वाज द होल आइडिया अबाउट क्रिएटिंग द धुन आनंद फाउंडेशन दे जॉइंड अस ऑन अ पार्टनर एंड बिफोर यू गो one interesting partnership we tied up very recently. The Doon School Old Boys Society is an alumni where I belong to. They are now 90, they are now 88 years old. And they like what we are doing at the Arthur Foot Academy as a project. We are aspiring to work with them in the next 10 years to do 100 projects across the country where we want to create community learning spaces inside the school or outside the school. At the community learning space, we'll focus on health and well being. And second, what else? Guess learning, joy of learning. So, joy of giving and joy of learning through health, well being, and our Sunday school. We will try and reach out to people in languages. A small experiment. We are currently running a separate school for teachers of Arthur Foot Academy. For 90 minutes every month, we meet them at the Arthur Foot Academy. Some of you have been there. We can't have a studio like this, but we've tried to do something more fun and better there. So we tried to create a studio there, which has already been set up. We've already run some sessions with them. So we run a 90-minute session with the teachers every month. And that's part of our professional learning program for teachers. Teachers are welcome to join. They're welcome to volunteer. You can join us and help. That could be joy of giving. We already have teachers who are coming. We'd be more than happy to have more teachers join us. To join us once a month, maybe with your skill, contribute to the health and well-being of people who have limited access to life and living. That's the whole idea behind it. I used very selective words today. I talked about life and living. I did not use any other word which were used in a conversation earlier. And it's about changing the vocabulary of the game, because if you can change the vocabulary, you can do everything. Bless you all. This meeting has to end before I promised you sunshine. Bye bye.